All right, welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is Ultra David. This is James Chen.
How's everybody going? Probably the same as we are over here, trying to get into our own chat.
Trying to get into the chat. Yeah, we haven't been able to actually log in. It took me a while just to actually log into the UltraChen account on Twitter, on Twitch. So
so if our sound is gone, if they're not seeing any video feed,
which is possible,
we'll never know.
We're just gonna do this whole show, and none of it's gonna get recorded at all.
Exactly. It's just gonna be pure silence.
We're just talking to ourselves, even more than we usually are. But anyway,
man.
So we don't have that much to talk about, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, last week was kind of
little bit of a slow week, and I was gone all weekend, couldn't really prepare like a big show or anything. So
right.
Instead, we have a few topics that we're going to cover, and then other than that, we pretty much are depending on you people to give us ideas.
We're going to try something very experimental today.
Something that we just thought about.
Exactly. So
we just invented.
We're going to do a Twitch Plays UltraChenTV in which you give us the topics to talk about.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Can't do it in chat.
Yeah, the actual Twitch chat is totally screwed up. That's not happening.
So you gotta send us tweets and ask us questions about what you would like us to talk about.
Definitely Twitter would be the best way. That's twitter.com/UltraChenTV. You can also, I guess, send us an email if that's what you feel like doing.
Right.
UltraChenTV@gmail.com.
Yeah, so just make sure you always include at UltraChen on there. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We got some good stuff coming up here. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been going on around here, right?
Okay, cool. So some things have happened. Here's a story that happened. Double Helix, which was the developer on Killer Instinct, the updated Killer Instinct.
And by the way, they just released Strider on PlayStation 3 today.
Also,
I think it's coming out on 360 tomorrow. So can't wait to check that. I'm going to get it on 360, so I'll wait till tomorrow. So yeah.
Yeah, so that developer was bought out by Amazon.
Such a weird one. I was not expecting that, but
yeah, I mean, Amazon, you know, there are talks that they're really trying to get more. It's not the first game dev that they've gotten, so they're trying to, I guess, expand a little bit. And according to the stories that I've read, there are no plans to change Double Helix's planned games and their whole schedules for things. So presumably they'll still be working on Killer Instinct. When the story was first out, I heard some people saying that they were not going to be working on Killer Instinct anymore for the next season, but from what I've read after that, they are going to be.
All I can say is Killer Instinct on Kindle Fire. Oh yeah.
What? Dude, that would be like one of those old Tiger games playing Street Fighter 2. There's like 4 characters, exactly. Like Blanca's one of them.
Oh man.
So that's a thing. Best of luck to all those guys. I hope, you know, we have friends who work at Double Helix.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that everything is going fine and dandy with all of them. Hope there's not going to be any changes there.
And apparently they knew about it because I saw some tweets from people saying that they were ready for, you know, they had plans for the transition and all that stuff like that. So
okay, cool, awesome. Let's see. Also, Guilty Gear Xrd is coming out on the 20th. It's the 18th where we live.
Yes.
So this sounds like it's going to be in 2 days. But actually, it's in less than a day because it's coming out in Japan, which is X number of hours ahead of us. I don't even know. And that's something like 19 or 20 hours from now.
Yeah, I'm really curious because, I mean, obviously it's coming out in Japan, so I'm sad because I can't get to play with it or anything. But the question that I have is anyone going to import it here? You know, I can imagine something like an arcade UFO trying to import it, you know? But I got to imagine it's got to be an expensive game to bring out over here, just like Street Fighter 4 was, right?
That was super expensive.
Because you had to get 2 machines to play Versus unless you, like, hacked it or whatever like that. So, yeah. But I mean, there's already been some video footage of the game already, so I'm curious to see.
I watched it actually. It was cool.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
cool. I haven't
seen
gotten
it
a chance to watch a lot.
Okay,
so.
I was gonna ask you what you thought about it because you're definitely more of a Guilty Gear guy.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the fact that there's no Johnny footage, Johnny, is hurting me because I'm just like, ugh.
You know why there's no Johnny footage?
Why?
Because he's not in it.
Well, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Exactly, that's what I mean. There's no Johnny, so it's just like, I'm like, okay, I guess, you know, I don't know. It hurts. It hurts to not know my characters in there, so the thing is, like, if Johnny was there, I'd be seeking out Johnny videos and watching and see how he plays now. Now that he's not in there, like, I'm like, do I look up Axel videos? Do I look up...
Is that your secondary?
No, I have...
Oh, really?
No, yeah. I mean, my secondary was Biken.
Okay.
And I don't think Biken's in the game either. So,
no.
Yeah, so...
Nope.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not a big Guilty guy. I played it only briefly and only in XX. But just to watch it, it looked a little bit slower than the Guilty Gear stuff that I'm used to watching whenever I just happen to see that game.
Right.
It looked a little bit slower. But I don't know whether that is like a real feature of the game, whether it will really end up like that, or whether it's the same thing that so many games go through, right?
That's true.
Injustice, when it came out, looked so slow.
Dude,
Marvel 3, when that game came out, it looked so slow compared to nowadays.
Like, we couldn't kill anybody. Like, everything was a timeout in
even
Marvel.
the movement. I think about how the movement looked. It was much slower. So, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not familiar enough with how that game works to really be able to say.
Yep. I agree. So.
Okay. But anyway, look out for that. I'm sure there'll be a lot more footage coming when it actually is out in what is to us a day and a half, but is in reality less than 24 hours.
Right.
Okay.
And then also, continuing on with the ArcSys trend.
That's right. There is an ArcSys trend here. Also, BBCP has a patch. We, I think, very briefly mentioned it at one point.
Yeah, but I mean...
we didn't really talk about it too much. And, you know, it's tough for us to talk about. So I'm learning BlazBlue now. I've been playing it for a few weeks.
Right.
I know some things. I know a bit about Tager specifically, but I've played against Bullet, I've played against Moo, and a couple of characters, and I've, you know, kind of done some research on them, but not on most of the cast. And certainly even my knowledge of those characters is limited compared to somebody who really knows the game.
Right.
When I read the change list, I can only be so helpful. Like, I'm sad to see that apparently the combos you can do off of Tager, standing A or 5A are less than they were before. There's more scaling or whatever it's called in that game.
Hit stun decay.
Yeah, but it's like on a timer system. So like the combo length is less than it was before, which could suck for him. It could also mean that he gets more resets. In a grab. So we'll just have to see how that works out. But that's kind of crappy. But you know, probably the biggest news is that Kokonoe is getting significantly nerfed. So the character that has been causing a lot of debate in the community as to whether to ban her or not is getting fixed.
Yeah, so I mean there's not going to be any questions of banning her now. So
right. Well, after it comes out. So that'll be released. Let's see. So the actual game itself comes out in North America in March. It's already out in Japan, has been for a long time. But the patch is coming out in North America in, I believe, May. Or maybe that's just when it's coming out in general. I don't know, something like that. But it's coming out soon, not too long from now. I don't really have as much to add as we talked about the Street Fighter 4 one for like 10 years.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to, like yesterday on the SDR cast, I know they talked about it a lot. And apparently there was a lot of like even... What the heck just happened? Apparently there was even a lot of debates on it too. I
listened to that this morning as I was getting ready for work. Yeah, it was cool. They had a couple of top BlazBlue players on there.
I think it was like Lord Knight was on there.
Lord Knight was on there. Yeah, Brick Dave was on there. And they talked all about it, and they had little debates here and there about the characters and a lot of info. I was listening to it just because I wanted to learn some stuff. I don't know enough about it. But yeah, so that was interesting. That's on twitch.tv/iplaywinner or youtube.com/iplaywinner. That's where the replay is.
Yep.
You can go check that out.
Okay. So, I mean, at this point in time, we've probably given everybody a chance to let the questions roll in. We said that today was going to be Twitch plays UltraChenTV, but this is probably a misnomer because there's no chat. So it's really going to be Twitter plays UltraChenTV, so it makes it even more original.
That's right. We're breaking ground. This is it.
So
I better get my patent lawyer friends on this. We gotta make a business practice here.
All right. So I mean, should we just get started?
Patent.
Should we just get started? Okay, sure.
So we're talking on. Oh, wow! You already got this. Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
So the first question comes from Pandaman Anna.
Okay.
And he's asking us to thank Poe's Law.
Named after its author Nathan Poe, if I recall correctly.
Look at you. Okay. So, what's our favorite meter mechanic of all time?
Meter mechanic.
That's a really interesting
That is
question.
a tougher question than I might have originally thought. Favorite meter mechanic. You know what? So, individual meter mechanic, I don't know. My favorite meter overall is probably between Injustice and MK9. I just really like how that meter, it's relatively small. It has, all of your options are bound up with it.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that you have to manage everything with this one meter.
Yeah.
I think that lends itself to like interesting meter management. So
yeah, I mean, meter management's always been one of my favorite things. I would actually say one of my favorite ones might even be cyberbots, just because
I have no idea what
every meter is different.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and in fact, like, they even look like one person's meter, like, when you did stuff, like, the little skulls would fill up and stuff like that. And, like, they just all look different. They had all different functionalities.
That's pretty cool.
So, you know, it was really kind of neat for that. I mean, I don't know enough about cyberbots to really go...
I know the name, but literally nothing else.
But, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I think there was 2 meters. Like, there was always the custom meter, and then there was just a regular super meter kind of thing. I can't remember exactly, but I always liked the fact that, like certain characters could fly a little bit, and so their flight meter were, like, dials that were specially designed and stuff like that. So I always thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Interesting.
All right. Let's move on to the next one here. What do you got? Ooh, man. The little guy says, I'm incredibly burned out on fighting games. Have you ever, presumably he means, have you ever been burned out on fighting games? If you did, how did you get back into things? Yeah, I have, and it wasn't even that long ago. Last year when I was playing League of Legends all the time, it was because I was burned out on fighting games. I went months, actually, without playing any game. Street Fighter, Marvel, Injustice, Cross Tekken, whatever it was. I went quite a lot. Actually, this is even before Injustice, maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. It was some period of time. But yeah, I didn't play any fighting games for a while. And I just kind of let it run its course. I knew that I was going to get back into it because that's happened in the past. And in those cases, I played like Warcraft 3 constantly, or I played like Brood War constantly, or I played Civ constantly. I played Civilization constantly. Yeah, so I mean, it definitely happens. I think that's pretty natural.
Yeah. I mean, I would say 99% of the people... It will happen if you play fighting games for a very long time. Yeah. I'm probably in the 1%. Like, I can't say I've ever been burned out on fighting games.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've
in 23 years.
Yeah, or 67 years or whatever it was. Yeah. I mean, the closest that I got burned out on fighting games, I didn't really get burned out. It was when I graduated from college and I got a job. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do this. That might have helped. That I just kind of stepped away from fighting games naturally for a little period of time. But then I just got back into it, and I don't know, like, I've just been, ever since Street Fighter 2, I've just been obsessed with fighting games. I've been playing it for over half my life.
I'm not too far off from that myself.
Yeah.
But
you know how old I am. Over half my life is a lot longer than over half your life, okay?
That's true.
So, but, yeah, I don't know. Like, dude, I can't honestly say there was a point in time where I was like, the closest would come was always before 2009, after EVO. For like the next 3 months, I did not want to touch fighting games. But then after 2009, and everything just got ridiculously hyped. Like, people don't really even know, like, before 2009, after Evo, there was always like 4 months of like nothing. Like people would stop playing because no one wanted to touch fighting games anymore because Evo burned us out. Right?
I was gonna say that was kind of nice.
Yeah,
to be honest,
yeah,
because I never felt like I should have been playing or watching or whatever it was at the time, but I wasn't doing it because I would play or watch between like January, December-ish until like maybe it was even February at the time. Until July.
Yeah,
And
then
nothing
for half a year practically.
Yeah, and everybody else did the same thing. I mean, we would still go to the arcade, but like not as often and not play as seriously. And people would play their secondaries or stand around and not even play at all.
Dude, I used to have like epic right after Evo was done, I'd be like, oh, I can start playing Rock Band a bunch of times. I can play all these other games and all that stuff. It just doesn't happen anymore.
So in conclusion, I think it's perfectly natural to get burned out on fighting games for a while. Some people get burned out and don't come back, but in my experience, most people come back.
Right.
I would say.
And, you know, honestly, like, I personally, I think that's actually kind of a testament that I feel like a lot of the games today are a lot more exciting and hyped to watch than they used to be. Because, I mean, seriously, if you watch a top 8 for CVS2, like, you know, Third Strike, Chun-Li's all day, you don't want to watch fighting games anymore. I know,
man. That was a lame period. It's a lame period, dude. I mean, it was cool. Those were good games, but they were lame to watch.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay. All right, let's move on.
So, Panamana is, like, attacking us here. Dude. So, yeah. So he says, do you think we should be progressing towards simpler controls, or do you think stick notations will stick forever? It's kind of two like different.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. I guess.
Yeah.
I would have thought by the first part of it that he means should we have fewer 720s and like fewer
Pretzel
like raging
stuff.
Exactly, things like that, which I'm all for personally. But as for the notation thing, so like I said, I'm picking up BlazBlue and now I can read like the 5s and the 3s and stuff. Then I go to, so I went to like the gas station, right? And then put in my credit card and it says like, what's your zip code? And I type it in, but it's completely the reverse.
Yep.
The freaking numbers are on the wrong, the top or the bottom.
Yep.
So that screwed me up.
No, you don't understand. Like, so look at my laptop, right? What's missing? The numpad is missing.
The numpad, there's no numpad.
Right, exactly. So every time I look at notation, I'm like, oh crap, I need to do, like sometimes I'm at work and I'm like, I need to look this up. So I stare at my phone.
Yeah.
Nope. Phone's not going to help because phone's completely upside down.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like, ugh. You do know why the phone is upside down, right?
Actually, I don't know, but I would love to.
I think it was originally when they first went to that phone, people were dialing numbers too fast. So they flipped them upside down to confuse them, to slow down dialing so that the operators could handle it better or something like that.
Well, I know that was the case with the rotary phone, that they purposely made it less efficient.
Oh, right.
But, wow, okay, that's
what I don't know. I heard. I mean,
I'm certainly no expert in phonology either.
Yeah, neither am I.
Actually, phonology is a word.
Oh, look, chat is back.
Oh, yeah?
Whoa, people are chatting again. Whoa, crazy. Okay.
Wow, all right.
Look at this.
Maybe.
Look at this.
Wow. All right, well, that's cool.
Okay.
Anyway, so
they can let us know now if there's been sound.
Yeah, please tell us if we've actually been talking for the last X minutes.
Oh, man.
I can't even see how long it's been going. That's not even working right now.
Right, exactly. So, okay, next question.
Next question.
So we are going to get over here. Let me make sure. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, we're not.
It's a different height.
Yeah.
Oh, wells.
Okay. Well, it basically says that
this is from Senor El Roboto 6.
I am thinking about getting some new buttons for my stick. What are your opinions on replacing buttons, best buttons, etc.? I have really started to like silent buttons.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would recommend getting some silent buttons. I know, like, Arcade Shock has a bunch of silent buttons and such. So, I know PROG just recently installed mechanical buttons.
I heard about that.
And he's really, really enjoying them. So, yeah.
Well, myself, as far as buttons that are readily available today, I really like the Seimitsu. It's what I've been using even when I built my own sticks, going back to like 08. No, 05 actually. Oh no, actually back then I was using PAP buttons, which aren't really as common nowadays. Okay. But yeah, I really like Seimitsu personally. But It just depends on what you like. You know, different buttons have different give, different strength you have to push to get them going. You know, different feels when you go for a mash, if you have to mash a super or whatever. It's just something that you have to try out. But, you know, I can use all the buttons. I don't know if anybody looks at a button other than like a concave old school button and thinks that it's tougher to use than anything else. It's just that people have favorites.
Yeah,
but none of it is harder to use, really.
Yeah, I mean, a button is a button is a button,
Yeah.
really, in the end. But
And nobody uses concave buttons anymore. You never see them.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah. They're not as efficient.
No, those suck.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly,
as
they're not very good.
efficient, So.
Yeah.
It was good for games where if you just rested your fingers on them and you would play like that.
Oh, I could
but
see that, yeah.
nowadays, you just want that instant.
You have to be more active.
Yeah. So, okay.
Okay.
Next question comes from Kim. This is Kim1234, the guy who's been doing all the USF4 changes, testing in Japan and stuff. He's got a pretty in-depth question here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
He basically says, if you're looking for topics, talk about how people need to be interesting for fighting games that last longer. That the games can only go so far.
Okay. All right. I think that he has a point when it comes to the popularization of fighting games in terms of a spectator event.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly the case. It's much more interesting to watch a person play when you care about the person, certainly. Mm-hmm. As it is in everything, it's better to watch something if you care about the people involved.
I know PR Rog's been doing a really good job with his stream on that one. So, yeah.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, everybody loves it when, you know, Sanford calls out multiple players at NEC and he develops his persona, and that's cool. And you know, Filipino Champ, for example, he built a heel persona.
Right.
And it totally worked. Some people love it. A lot of people hate it.
But that's kind of the point.
It's exactly the point.
Right?
Because you care about when you play against Filipino Champ or when you see somebody play against him, you want him to lose. But that means that you want to watch his match.
Yeah, exactly.
So the goal is still met.
Yeah. I mean, here's an interesting thing is, like, anytime, if pick your favorite sport, watch two teams play against each other. If you care about one team, guaranteed that it's way more interesting to watch than if you watch a game between two teams you don't care about.
Of course.
And it doesn't even matter if it's one that you're rooting for or one you're rooting against.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you have a side to pick, it's that much more entertaining.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I've always said personalities are hugely important. In fact, me and Derek Daniels, a.k.a. Omni, we talk about this all the time, how what ESPN did right with poker was that they decided to focus on the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this is Chris Jesus Ferguson, this is Phil Hellmuth, this is Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, all these things, and then they did the player profiles and stuff like that. And I've always felt that way. I mean, you can even see it in all the Evo trailers that I used to do before. Like, every year you could watch a stronger progression towards a focus on players as opposed to the game. Like, it started off like, here's these cool games, but then I started throwing in more names and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with Kim that there definitely needs to be a lot of that. Now, I don't know a lot of the League of Legends and StarCraft scenes. Like, I can't comment on what kind of personality their players have.
I really don't know too much about StarCraft anymore. I pretty much dropped out of that. I did watch League for a while. There were certainly some players who were more interesting than others. People who had points to make on Twitter a lot, or people who posted on Reddit a lot, and either riled people up or whatever, said something cool, information, whatever. You know, the trash talk is pretty minimal. Sometimes they would show people trash talking, and it was like pretty.
It's not FGC trash talk.
But nevertheless, people were interested in it, and they thought it was hilarious. I mean, it wasn't up to our standards, you understand? But it's there. So I'm sure Riot understands the importance of player, and you can see it when Riot. And basically any media that Riot puts out, they always have a major focus on the players. They have interviews constantly. They try to build backstories all the time because that's important. I mean, they understand the point that Kim is making, that in order for people to care about watching something, they have to be more interested in the people involved. Yeah,
so I mean, it is kind of a message out to a lot of the top players out there, right? You know, definitely try to craft crafting a fan base is... It takes work.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we saw what happened with Flocker at the Capcom Cup. He didn't get voted in. He's the Evo champion.
Right. That's
Doesn't
a
have
great
much
example.
of a social media presence, right? And you know, and I remember talking to him about it. He was like, "What do I need social media for? 1 million people watched me at Evo that weekend, right?" And I said to him, it was just like, there's 1 million people watching. They're not necessarily watching for you, but if you have 50,000 followers like Justin, they're there specifically to hear what Justin has to say.
Yes.
So that's very important. They're specifically there following you because they want to listen to you.
And furthermore, it's not just about that one moment at Evo. Justin has these people that he can talk to constantly. Whenever he posts any crap, whenever there's something about Momochi that happens, all those 50,000 people get to hear about it.
Yep.
And that lets you build more interest in the long term rather than just at one time.
Yeah, and it lets people see the outside you, so you get to see a lot more interesting things about the person as well. So
Momochi's a cute little dog. For sure.
Yeah,
she is so
absolutely,
small, dude.
absolutely.
Like, if you've only seen those videos or the little vines or whatever that he puts up, she's like crazy small. she fits. I would say she's about that long, maybe like tip of my finger to like middle of my forearm.
Yeah.
She weighs like 4 pounds.
Yeah. Like every time I
Really
pick her
small.
up, I'm scared I'm gonna like throw her over
I know,
my shoulder
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
So, but
All right, let's move on.
okay. Let's see here. So we're gonna do a show teaching me how to play Hakan.
Oh yeah, we can do that whenever. This is
That's
this is a
true.
conversation that was brought up late last week, I guess, on Twitter.
It was just really funny because, you know, we keep complaining that there's no one out there taking advantage of Hakan.
Right.
I'm trying to find another character in
Right.
Ultra, and I was like, I love grapplers and I like technical execution. Why am I not playing Hakan?
I feel like you'd be a really good fit for Hakan. Yeah.
I mean, it's just I always felt like Hakan was your character, so you
yeah,
know, like
I really
didn't,
have
you
one.
know.
Yeah.
But now it's like maybe I should try him out. And,
I think it also goes in line with the thing that you like coaching now. You like the idea of coaching. So like, you know, you're a smart player. I can still think about it even if I can't play it well. We can like powwow about how to play, and
that's my biggest problem is when I play, like I don't notice a lot of things I do, and I'm scared to go and watch my matches.
Right,
so, you know,
true,
so it'll be perfect. Like I said, I'd have the best Hakan coach possible. So yeah, I think that would work out really well. So
I think it'd be cool. Yeah, we should really try it out. Okay, what? Let's dissolve into this one.
Gush about your favorite fighting games that you're certain no viewers understand on the level that you do. So is there a fighting game that you really like that you don't think anybody knows as much about as you do?
I know people know more about Super Turbo than I do because sometimes when I watch people like in Japan play, they do things that I haven't seen before, like little uses of normals. But other than that, I don't feel like anybody knows more about ST than I do in the US. Certainly, a lot of people know the same amount. You know, I mean, we know the same amount. But I don't know if there's anything more to know among Americans. I feel the same way for Street Fighter 4. Who knows more than I do? Like, a lot of people know the same as I do. We, like, have the same in-depth understanding of the game, but I don't know who knows more. That's probably about it. Maybe there was a time when Third Strike was like that for me. Actually, probably there was not. I don't think I was good enough at the time. So
I mean, I could say weird things like Dynasty Warriors, the original one, which started out as a fighting game, because I just think I know more about it by default because who the hell played this game?
Not me. You definitely know more about that I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to learn about it, but geez, I don't even know if there is. I don't like the only way that could happen is in that situation where I am playing a game that nobody else has ever played. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can imagine it. So
yeah. Okay, we already did talk about the BlazBlue patch as much as we possibly can.
So we're gonna go over to this one. Whoops. Which basically says, what do we think about the Justin versus Chaos for MVC2?
I don't know anything about that.
It's an exhibition match that's going to come up at SCR.
Okay, I know that part.
Yeah. So, who do you think is going to win that?
I don't know anything about that.
I mean, you can't bet against Justin Wong, right? I mean, I know he's been practicing a little bit with Neo recently, so they've been playing a little bit. So, yeah. That's the only thing I can really comment is I just wouldn't bet against Justin. So
okay, fair enough.
Justin is Justin. So
that's a good point. Nice
Do you
little
wanna
tautology.
do you wanna take a break or?
Yeah,
should
sure. This thing actually does not tell me how long we've been live so far, but I guess probably about half an hour at this point. So
Yeah. I mean, we started around like 8:35. It's about 9:05 right now.
let's take a break then. We'll be back with more UltraChenTV on Tuesdays in a bit.
Okay.